Hey, it's Nate here at Headstone Horror. I am currently on the road traveling, so I thought I would share my thoughts about Evil Dead Burn. I went and watched it a couple of days ago. I've had some time to digest it, get my thoughts figured out about it, and so I want to go over the opening, some strengths, weaknesses, the horror, the tone, performances, and who this would be for at the theater specifically. And I'm sure there are plenty of other really great reviews out there that go in depth into the story with spoiler free. This is going to be spoiler free. I'm not really going to go into the story. This is more just about the movie as a whole. And to just give you a little bit of background about myself, I am a huge Evil Dead fan. I was in Evil Dead the musical at Morehead State University. As a matter of fact, I played Evil Ed, and I've always loved the franchise. I started out watching the 80s version. Well, Evil Dead 2 was the first one I watched, and then I went back and watched Evil Dead 1, and of course Army of Darkness. And I have my brother to probably thank to be able to watch those, or I probably wouldn't have, because he was older than me and he knew about all the good horror movies back in the day. But anyway, so now let's talk about Evil Dead Burn. So the first thing is the opening. The hook, and I've written down a few things on this bag that I got from the restaurant. So the opening has a strong hook. You're going to get right into the Evil Deadness, if you know what I mean. Straight into the first 5 minutes of the movie. So it starts out very strong. It literally will hook you and pull you in, and that is a pun. If you watch the movie, you will understand. This movie is more of a classic Evil Dead formula. It's isolated. You're at a house in the woods, which is more older Evil Dead and Evil Dead remake, and not set in the city, kind of like how Rise was. So this is more of a classic, probably more of a head nod to the original Evil Dead, the old original Evil Dead, as this one is a little bit more on the scary side and a lot less comedy. So this one has nods to the other Evil Deads, as I was just saying. There's the Kandarian dagger. That's not really a spoiler, but perhaps. The Kandarian dagger is in it. They do mention Professor Novi, or reference him. There is an electric knife, which is a reference to the new Evil Dead remake. There's the first-person camera thing that Sam Raimi did back in the old Evil Dead, where the entity was coming at Ash and everything. So there's kind of some of that in there. So there's definitely some homage to other Evil Dead movies, which is pretty cool to see. So I was definitely okay with that. And all of this, it's Evil Dead straight from the beginning, for sure. It is a straight, classic, scary Evil Dead formula, straight from the get-go. As for the horror, well, it's pretty unrelenting. It's very bloody, I've got written down. So there's some household object kills. Let's see, there was some dismemberment. There was melting flesh. It was just all out grossness. I'm sure I'm leaving some things out. There was some bashing, there was some shooting, things that you would find in an Evil Dead movie, things that you would find in a horror movie, things that you would find in a Gorefest movie. It has it all. This is like Saw and Evil Dead kind of wrapped up into one. It is an Evil Dead movie, so there's going to be some good kills and some good blood. And to me, this one was probably up there with some of the most gore and some of the most blood that you will see in the Evil Dead new Evil Dead series, for sure, and old Evil Dead series. I thought there was quite a bit in this movie. Now, my brother, he thinks that Evil Dead remake had more grossness or more gore fest than this one, but this one got me a little bit squeamish, actually. So I had to give the horror to this movie myself. The tone I've got is it's darker than Evil Dead Rise, for sure. There is no slapstick. There's no really comedy in it besides a few one-liners from Grandma. That's really about it. And there were some darker themes in this as well. There was some abuse and cruelty, things like that. So overall, the tone was a little bit darker than Evil Dead Rise, and Evil Dead maybe on par with Evil Dead, since that one was kind of about drugs and rehab or intervention or something like that. But this one was a very, very dysfunctional family, and so they kind of go into that with some of the tone, some of the undertones was some of the family getting into what it's like to have a kid that's one liked better than the other and so forth. So anyways, there's kind of some of that with the some things with Alice, who is the wife, well, wife of one. Well, anyways, there's some darker tones there going in with the relationship. I don't want to give anything away as far as the plot goes, in case you haven't seen it and you want to. The performances, you have a very, very strong lead in Yoakum. She's the Alice. She is the main lead, female lead, very strong lead. She did a fantastic job. She absolutely sold herself in this role. I come from an independent acting world as well, so yeah, she was really good. She did a great job. The supporting cast was amazing as well. They sold their roles as well, especially my favorite, Edgar, the dad of the family. He already has that intense look about him anyways. He looks like he belongs in a horror film, and he belonged in this horror film. He was very good. Supporting cast amazing. So some top-notch performances for horror. Everybody played their role and played it very well. There was practical effects in this movie, which was really nice to see, which was no surprise, being that it's a Sam Raimi produced flick. He is all about the practical effects. Now, there was some CGI, some CGI overlay, and towards the end of the movie there was a bit more of some CGI. I would like to have seen a little bit more practical towards the end of the movie there, but whatever reason they went with the CGI, they did, so it is there. But otherwise, the practical effects were great. There was some really good practical gore effects in this film, so that's very enjoyable. The sound design was top-notch. It was phenomenal. I have nothing to say there. And I did like the set design. The set was in a old house, in kind of isolated. I'm not going to say necessarily in the woods, but it was out and about in the ways where there's nothing else around. So it's not a cabin in the woods, but it is an old decaying house that's run down, not being taken care of. Just perfect for an Evil Dead setting. So some of the strengths of this film, and I'm kind of just running through this pretty quick. It was very gory, very bloody, and it was very, very intense. So if you like an intense ride with some blood and gore, then this is going to be for you. The violence was also done in a creative way. I've got written down here. It was kills, I guess. That's, you know, it's not just like Jason Voorhees kills where you just get stabbed with a knife and it's over. There's some people get killed here in some creative ways, which was you know, kind of cool to see, especially with the practical effects. The third act was absolutely wild. It was non-stop. I mean, like I said, the whole movie was pretty intense from the get-go. You're pretty much on the edge of your seat from the very beginning of the movie. Then you got some downtime before they actually get to the house. And once they get to the house, there's not a lot of downtime from that point forward, especially when Act 3 begins. There's virtually no downtime till the main end, final couple of minutes of the movie. So it is very, very go with intensity, horror, and leaving you on the edge of your seat that whole time. Not a lot of time to breathe, for sure. So the weaknesses here would be, still the movie can feel exhausting. As I said, it was very intense. The tension doesn't break in that, it felt like to me, in that final act at all. So there's not a lot of chances to take a deep breath and like get up and go to the restroom and come back. It's so much going on, and it's pretty heavy. So that could also be for people who don't like that. They may not want to go to the theater for this as well, because of that reason. And some more weaknesses, I guess, if you're a fan of the older Evil Deads, or Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness, well, there's no comedic gimmicks or anything like that. There's no Three Stooge type setups. There's no slapstick. Like I said, there's a few one-liners from the grandma, and that's about it. So the Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness fans, if you were looking for a little comedy, it's not there. Doesn't really take away from the movie. Like I said, it's more of a darker tone anyway, and it definitely fits the Evil Dead series for the seriousness that Evil Dead started out with the first Evil Dead movie. Let's see, I've got the gore could potentially outweigh the story. The gore and the tension is what I have written down. Could potentially outweigh the story. So if you're more of a story-driven person and less of a gore-driven person, then it might be something you'd want to skip, because it's a lot. If you know the Evil Dead universe, then you don't need a whole bunch of story. You just need the setting, really, and then how it happened in this movie, and that's pretty much what you get. You don't really get a whole lot if they're setting up for something else in the future. We will see. There was some things with that in the movie, but I guess that will just depend on how well this movie does at the box office. But yeah, the story could be overshadowed by the gore and the tension, so that could be another possible weakness I thought of. So who's this for? So here, in conclusion, who's this movie for? Well, this is definitely, if you're a hardcore horror fan, this is absolutely a must-see. You need to go see this in the theater. It's got everything that you want in a horror movie, especially the tension and the low lights in the theater with the sound, with the 12.0 surround sound or whatever, to get the full effect. It's amazing. There's a jump scare or two. There's loud sound effects. I mean, it creates the tension a lot better in the theater if you're there. And if you're more of a casual horror fan, then this one might be one that you might want to just wait to stream to check out, in case you need to take breaks in the movie. Maybe like pause it, come back another day, or pause it and maybe come back in an hour or two. Maybe there's some gore that you kind of just want to like skip over, and you just want to get the story. So if you're more of a casual fan, you want to skip the blood and guts, maybe wait to the stream, till it comes out to streaming, so that you can skip a little bit of that. But otherwise, as far as the film goes itself, for me, if I had to rate it out of 10, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I did like the movie. I did like it as an Evil Dead movie, and what it could be potentially setting up, and what I have my own idea is what it could be setting up. I think the next movie, if there is one, that they would start kind of merging some of the Evil Dead universes together. That's just my opinion. It does seem like they could be going that route, mentioning Professor Novi, having the dagger in here, and then with the post-credit sequence that they had, which I will not speak about, but I think they could be merging all the universes together in the next movie, or at least there will be a lot of ties in to merging the universes for a movie after that, perhaps. However, they can squeeze out more movies for more money. But anyways, 7 out of 10, must see for die-hard horror fans. Casual fans may want to skip it until streaming, and otherwise, it's a pretty good movie for an Evil Dead series. I liked it better than Evil Dead Rise, and it was probably more scarier for me than the new Evil Dead as well. And I think this one had more tension as well. So probably out of the newer ones, this one was the best out of 3, my personal opinion. So anyways, take care. We'll see you on the next one. I got some more stuff coming up for our channel, so like and subscribe if you would. That would be a great help. It's a new channel, so we're just trying to do what we can do to, get out there. Thanks.